Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the part 5 of our Python series. So in this video, we will learn about Python arrays, how many type of array, what are array and how many type of arrays Python support. Okay. So before that, let's go ahead and solve the previous practice question, which was like you have to write a function to ask user age and tell whether they can vote or not. So let's proceed quickly and we'll see the solution. So for that I am making a file called solution.py. I will write a function diff can vote and I will take age as an input. Okay, now we will check if age greater than equal to 18. If it is 18, then it will simply print yes, you can vote, else it will print no, you can't vote. So let me copy this statement and paste it here. So no, you can't vote. Okay, now just let's run this quickly with some age. Suppose I will call the function can vote and I will pass 15. So as you can see, I'm just running this code. See, it's returning like no, you can't vote. Why? Because the age is 15, which is not greater than or equal to 18. Now let's pass something else here. Now let's pass 20 here. Now see the output. So when see the output, it says yes, you can vote. Why? Because the age is greater than or equal to 18. Okay, so as I told you, our today's topic will be like arrays in Python and what arrays are. So first we will learn about what is an array. Okay, so suppose we want to store multiple values. Okay, we want to suppose store 100 values or more than 100 values. In this case, taking a variable is not a feasible scenario because you have to define like 100 variables. Suppose we can say var1, var2, var3, and we have to go like var100. Okay, so defining 100 variable in a code is not a good practice because it's too hard to manage that and it's too hard to remember those 100 variables. And consider a scenario. Suppose there are like thousand of record or million of record. In that case, it's not possible to define 100,000 or million variables for a single piece of code. Okay, so to help in that kind of situation, arrays are introduced in any PL. So what are array? They are simply a collection of memory spaces that can store multiple values. Okay, so suppose you have taken array. Okay, first of all, what array are? They can store multiple values. Okay, now in C or C++, or when we talk about Java, arrays can store like a value of similar data type or same data type. But in Python, there is no such kind of data type restriction. You can store any kind of data. Suppose you can store integer, you can store in float, you can store strings, anything. You can store a list under list under tuple. Anything is possible. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. Suppose you have a array1, and you have defined it for 10 to store 10 number. Then what will happen? In memory, a space will be created. Okay, so of 10 numbers. So 1, I will say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, So this is how 10 numbers will be represented in an array. But when we trying to access that, so you can't directly access by values way. Okay, we have to pass the address of that variable. Okay, so address will be the, we call it index number. So index always starts from 0, so it will be start like 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, so index always start from 0. And suppose you want to access the fifth element. In my case, fifth element is 5. Okay, so to access the fifth element, you have to write like ARR, and in square bracket we pass index number. So we will say ARR of 4. So that will return us the fifth value. Why? Because it's starting from 0, so it's like 1 less to the actual element number. Okay, now this is a basic example of an array. So we will go ahead and see how many arrays Python supports. Okay, so let me delete this first, and so I will select all of this. Okay, and I will say Control A, delete, and go to Presage. Okay, now so Python support basically 4 type of arrays: list, set, tuple, and dictionary. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me like write this: list, then tuple, then set, and then dictionary. Okay, why? I'll tell the basic difference between all these. So list is ordered array. Ordered means the element will be represented in the order same as you inserted. So suppose I inserted A, B, C, so it will printed in the same order A, B, C. Okay, so in list tuple, order is like they are ordered, so it will be printed in same order. Okay, but for set, order is not mandatory, so it's orderless. It's not order. Okay, it's not to print everything in order. Okay, not ordered we can say. And it doesn't allow duplicate element, no duplicate. Okay, what I'm talking about we will see in coding. So it's allow for right now, just understand that set doesn't allow duplicate in element. So suppose you have written two A's in your set, so it will return only one, it will make it 1. Tuple is same as a list, but it's immutable. Immutable means when you once have assigned the values to the tuple, you can't change it. It's immutable. Okay, so if you want to change anything in tuple, there is a approach. You have to convert it into list, then you have to add the values or remove the values, and then make it tuple again. Okay, what is a dictionary? So dictionary simply keep value in key value pair. So suppose I want to something like, suppose I have a dictionary called car, then I can say make or brand. You can say, you will give the name, suppose Audi, comma, when I will say color, and I can say red. So here make and color are the keys, and right side of the colon what we have written is the value. So Audi and red is the value. Okay, and we enclose a dictionary with a curly braces, which we'll see in the coding. So let's begin with the coding. Okay, so first we'll see the list, and it will take much time because there are many functions associated with list. Okay, and okay, so I will say it mlist, yeah, or my list. Okay, so let's define a list. So list one I can say, or let's define like this. I will say roll numbers, and equal to, and give a square braces. This is how you define a list or initialize a list. Okay, initialize list. Okay, so in this case this is an empty list. You will, if you will print this, nothing will get printed. So if you print roll numbers, if I'm going to print this roll numbers, see what happens. As you can see, empty, nothing got printed. Because why? Because the list is empty. We have initialized the list, but it is empty, and that's why it's not printing anything on the screen. Now we'll go ahead and add some of the values. So what we'll do, you can add values at type at the time of initialization. So you can write like 2 comma 4 comma 6. In case of string, you have to give it in double quotes. Okay, so I can say ABC. And as I said earlier, there is no restriction on the data type. You can store any data type in a single list. Okay, so if I now print this, see, the list get printed. Okay, now what we'll do, I will try to add some values. Runtime means when programmatically when we want to add some values. So this is also possible. So I can for this list provide two type of function. First one is we can use, so I will write use of append, sorry, it's three type of, and then we say extend, and third one is insert. Okay, now we'll see what is the basic difference between these three functions. Okay, so these all are to insert a value. Okay, so let's try to insert something using these three. So for use to make use of append function, we have to write like roll numbers dot append. As you saw, it's already populated, and I can pass any value. So I will pass like 9. Now when I run this code again, 9 got printed. Why? Because we have added this using append function. Append function add anything to the last of the string, last of the list. Okay, so it will be added as the last value. Okay, suppose we want to insert anything in the middle or on the first, so in that scenarios we will use insert. Okay, so we can say roll numbers dot insert. Now insert take two arguments. First of all, the index number which we just saw, so it will take the index number which we want to print, and then it will which we want to insert, and then it will insert the value. So suppose this is our string, and here is our list defined. So what will say, I will put a hash here, and the index for this list will be something like 0, then 0, then we can say 1, then we can say 2, then we can say 3. So suppose we have to insert between 2 and 4. Okay, so what I will do, I will make I will give the index like 1. So, and let's insert here something called xyg. Okay, now let first run this and see what happens. Okay, so I will remove this list, this line, append line. So I will comment this simply. Okay, now I'll run this. Now see, xyg got inserted at the second position. Why? Because we have provided the index number as 1. Now what happened, 2 is not replaced, it's on its original position. xyz got inserted at first index because we have mentioned the index at first, and for 4 5 6 index got shifted. So first it was 1, it became 2, 6 was 2, it became 3, and abc was at the third index, it became at the 4 index. Okay, so to verify that, we can print the index of any number. So suppose I want to print roll numbers to print the index, we make use of index function. So dot index, and we'll pass the value. So I will say let's pass abc. Now when I print this, okay, let me clear this. Okay, now sorry, I forgot to print this, so I have to print this statement. Okay, now when I run this, see, 4 is the index of abc, which we just saw. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, now we got the idea of append and insert. Now we will see the use of extend function. Okay, so suppose we have two lists, okay, roll numbers and we can say, what we can say, color or roll numbers of different buildings. So roll number 2, we can say. Suppose we have two strings, and in this string we have some values like 1, 9 and 5, something like this. Okay, so let's try to insert this list under this list and see what happens. So I will say roll numbers dot append roll number 2. Okay, let's print this valuation and see what happens. So when you see when you do like this, and when you will print the output, what will happen? Let me print the value. See, the list itself got inserted under the list. So it's the nesting of list under the list. Okay, so 159 get inserted as the list. We don't want this. We want the element of the list to be inserted. So we want something like 2, 4, 6 abc, then 1, 5, 9. We don't want it in as a list. Okay, so now let's achieve that. So what we'll do, we will make use of extend function. So when you say extend, the element of the other list will be added, and now when we will print this code, it will be printed as expected. So 2, 4, 6 abc 159. So again, to revise these three functions, what the use of append? Append insert at last of the list. So insert at last. Okay, and insert function will insert at specific position, and extend will insert the elements. Okay, now these three functions we use to insert the values in the list. Okay, now we suppose we want to remove the values. So to remove the values, we have two functions. Okay, we use two functions. So okay, so first function to remove something, let me comment all these three. Okay, yeah. Now to remove, we have two functions. First one is pop and second one is remove. Okay, so what is difference between these two? Pop function, so let's talk about pop first. Pop function takes index number, okay, and the index number which you provide, it will delete the element at that index. Okay, and if you not provide, if you will not provide any index number, then it will delete last element. Okay, now remove function take value. So it takes values as input. Okay, so As you saw, there are two functions, pop and remove, and now we'll see it in practical. Okay, so now let's go ahead and see the practical. So we are having two lists. Okay, remove this. Okay, now we are having these two lists. Let me do one thing. Let me copy and paste this in other file, so it will be easy for us. Okay, now I'm taking my, okay, sorry, let's see it in, let's delete all of this. Okay, now let's paste the code. Okay, so what we can see, the functions are pop and remove. Okay, now suppose we want to delete ABC from this list of roll numbers. Okay, delete the second list, we don't want this. Okay, now we want to remove ABC. So there are two approach. First approach will be, we will say like roll numbers dot remove, and we will pass the value itself. So we'll pass ABC, and now when you print this, now when you print roll numbers, what will happen? See, ABC got deleted from the list. So let me zoom it a little bit. You can see ABC got deleted from the list. Okay, now let's achieve the same thing using pop function. Okay, so for pop we will pass the index number. So the index of ABC will be 1 2 3 4. So index is 4. So now when we run this, so index is out of range. Sorry, I did some mistake. So let's again check the index. 0 1 2 3. 3 is the index. Okay, so let's remove the third index and print the output. So the answer is 246. So as you see, ABC got deleted again. So you got the basic difference between pop and remove function. Let's again call pop without any parameter. So when you call pop without any parameter, see what will happen. So I'm not passing anything. Okay, I'm not passing anything and I'm calling this. So let's run this code. See, it's printing 2 4. Why? Because ABC got printed due to this line. Now 2 4 6 remains. So as I told you, pop removes the last element if we don't provide anything. So 6 became the last element of the new list and it got removed by this statement. Okay, so in this case our output was something like 2 4 6, and when we run this line, the output became 2 4. Last element got deleted. Okay, now there are some more functions related to list. We will see this. So let's change the values, like we will say 8 15 commas 89. Okay, now Python provides you some basic functions associated to lists, like if we want to print the length of the list. Okay, so if we want the length of the list, how many elements in the list present, so then simply you make use of len function. So we can say len, and we'll pass the parameter as roll numbers. So we'll say len raw numbers. So I will run this. See, 6 is the output. Count the number of element: 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So yes, lens returns the number of elements in a list. Okay, now let's say here like something like max, and when we run this, see 89 got printed. Why? Because 89 is the maximum number in this list. You can say min, and when you will run this, it will return the minimum element, which is 2 in this element. Okay, now let's say you make use of sort function. So when we say something like roll numbers dot sort, okay, and when you will print this list, Okay, it's saying us, okay, you can't directly print this like uh, just like this right here, roll number dot sort, it got sorted, and now we will print roll numbers. Okay, now when we will run this, we will get the output, we will get a sorted list. Okay, so we got a sorted list 2 4 6 8 15. So it's in ascending order. If you want it in descending order, you have to use a flag which is called reverse. So we will make reverse equal to true. Now when I do this, I will get the list sorted in descending order. Okay, so list got sorted in descending order. Okay, so this is about the list. Now we'll see some of the more examples of accessing the element of the list. So suppose you want to access the third element, so we will provide the element like index number. We can simply pass, like we'll simply pass the index number in a square bracket. So I will say print roll numbers in square bracket, it's 2. Okay, now we will run the code. See, 6. So the third element is 6, 2 4 6. Okay, so you can take it as a formula. So it will be like number of element minus 1, minus 1 because we start the indexing from 0. Okay, now we want to see every number after the second element or after the third element. So let's see the output. Now if I run this, I get the output like every element after the third element, including third element. Okay, so colon simply means everything after that. So third and everything after third. Okay, so it will print like 6 8 15 89. Okay, so this is called slicing in list, and for slicing the lists, it's a lengthy topic, so I will create a separate video. And there is another thing called list comprehension. For that also we'll see, I will make a separate video for on both of them. Okay, now let's move ahead and see the tuples. Okay, so I will go here, I will create a new file, I will name it as mtuple.py. and now, so as in list we initialize it from square brackets, in tuple we initialize with the small bracket. So I will say my tuple equal to, and we will give a small brackets and we will initialize like 1 2 3 4 5 or anything. Okay, now let's try to manipulate the value of this tuple. First we will print this tuple. Okay, print my tuple. Okay, now let me clear the screen first. Now when I try to print this, 1 2 3 5 got printed. Okay, but let's try to replace the element. I will say my tuple second element equal to anything like ABC. Okay, now when I run this, I get an error. Tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay, so we can't assign the elements one it's has been initialized. So if you want something like a static value, in that case you can use tuples. So the only difference between list and tuple is tuple lists are mutable, we can change the element. Suppose in list we can say like roll numbers second index equal to, make it like something like xyg, and when you print this, I will remove the slicing. When you print this, when you run this, you will get like xyg is inserted, or xyg is replaced with the item at the second index of this list. So this is possible in list. That's why list is mutable. Mutable means we can change the values after initialization. Immutables means we can't change the value after initialization. Okay, and there are not much thing about tuples, so we will move ahead with the sets. So I will say my set equal ABC, MySQL.py. Okay, So now to initialize a set, we make use of curly braces. So we make use of curly braces. So we'll say 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. So in this way we can initialize a set. Okay, and to initialize an empty set, we can't make use of like we can't initialize it like my set 2 equals. It's a wrong way. It's a wrong way. Okay, wrong way. Why? Because we initialize a empty dictionary like this. Okay, so to initialize an empty set, what we have to do, we have to write like my set equals set. So in this way you can initialize an empty set. Okay, now let's see some of the properties of set. So suppose we have a set and we have a number of element, and now let's print our set. So I will say my set and I will print this. Okay, so let's clear this, run Python file. Now you can see 1 2 3 4 got printed. Okay, now let's repeat the element of the set. So after 4 I will again insert 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, now when I print this, as you can see, duplicate elements got eliminated. So it's very useful in case of we have duplicate data, we can use sets. Okay, and also some of the set are some of the beautiful properties like intersection, semantic difference, which we are going to see in this code. So let's see. So suppose we have two sets. Okay, suppose we have two sets. My set, I will call it 2, or let's call it like something like set A and set B. Okay, and set B equal to set B will have some of the element of set A in common. So we can say like 3 comma 4, and some of the new elements like 9 8 or 12. Okay, now as we can see, it's having some of the common element and some of the its own element. I have initialized it like this to demonstrate some of the function of sets. So there are some useful functions related to sets. So we have intersection. So what intersection does, it print common element. It fetch the common element. Okay, so item that are common in both set. Suppose in this case we have 3 and 4. That is 3 and 4. You can say example. Okay, so in this set we have 3 and 4. Now we talk about symmetric difference. So symmetric difference is a function. Symmetric difference, symmetric difference. This will fetch, this is vice versa of intersection. So element of both the set, element of both set which are not common, okay, so it will print everything except 3 and 4. So it will print like 1 comma 2 comma 9 comma 9 8 comma 12. Okay, so let's go ahead and see the code side by side. Okay, so first we will see the intersection. So we can say print set A dot intersection, and I will call set B. Okay, now see the output. Print it like this. I will comma intersection. Okay, now when clear this, and now when I print this, see, as I told you, 3 and 4 got printed. Why? Because they are common in both set. Okay, now let's do the same thing for symmetric difference. So I will call simply symmetric difference, and okay, sorry for my spelling mistake here. So it's not symmetric difference, it's symmetric difference. Okay, now when I run this, you can see the output 1 2 8 9 12. As I told you, the output is 1 2 9 8 and 12. Next function is similar to next function is difference. So what difference does? Difference. So it will print a minus b. Simply what it means, element of a which is not in b, okay. So in this case the output will be 1 comma 2. So these are only two element which are not in set b. Okay, so let's print the output, and I will say difference. I will call the function difference, and let's print the output. So I will say Control L, and I will run my Python file. See, the 1 and 2 got printed. Why? Because it will print the element of set A which are not in set B. Okay, now again the next function is union. So what union does? Union will print all the elements of both set. All element of both set. So union simply means it like unity, or it will print the both set elements one time. Okay, so it will print the common element only one time. As we already know, set doesn't allow duplicate element. It will print like 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 9 comma 8 comma 12. Set the see the output. I will say union. Okay, now let's run the code. You can see the output is 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 8 9 and 12. Okay, so these are some of the basic function of the set, and these are some of the basic functionality of the set. Okay, now what we will do, we will see dictionary. Okay, so let me go ahead and make a dictionary. So I will say dict. Okay, sorry, I forgot to give the extension, so I will rename this dict.py. okay, now I will create a dictionary. I will say my dict dict equal to, so in that way it will create an empty dictionary. To initialize value, we can give it in key and value pair. So I will suppose I can say student, and I can assign like something like this. So I will go ahead and say roll, and I will say 1 2 3 4 comma second key value is like standard, and I will say fourth. I will say percentage, or I can say house, which house he belongs. So I will say, we are missing comma here. I will give comma. Okay, so house, I will say red house. Okay, now let's go ahead and print our dictionary. So when we print our dictionary, Okay, I have not printed it, so let's print our dictionary. I will say print student. Okay, and let's see the output. So as you can see, dictionary got printed, roll number, standard, house. So when there is a value in key pair, we use dictionary. Suppose we have certain scenario like this case, or we have something like color code and the color name, something which comes with username, like we have username and password, we can create a dictionary kind of thing. Okay, so anything which is in like key value pair, we use dictionary. Okay, so there are some functions of dictionary. So suppose if you want to try to access the element, so accessing the element. So if you try to access the element, there are two ways. First way, you can say something like print. So I'm making use of print function to show you the output. Otherwise it's not mandatory every time to use print. You can assign the values in a separate variable. Okay, so I will say print student, and in square bracket you have to pass the key. So there are three keys: house, roll and standard, which is already populated here. Okay, so I can choose any one of these, and when I will print, roll number will get printed. Okay, so this is the one way of accessing. So the demerit of this is, if you trying something to access which is not in the dictionary, so suppose I can say XYG, it's not in the dictionary and I'm trying to access. Now let's see that it's giving us the exception, that is the key error. So if you try to if you want to avoid that, you can simply make use of get function. Okay, so I can simply write get and I will pass the key name roll. Okay, now when I will print this, roll number got printed, and suppose you want to access something which is not present, suppose XYG, and when you want to print this, none will get printed. So the program will not crash, you will not get any exception, it will simply print none, which is okay for us. We can handle this situation. Okay, and if you want something other than none, so you can define it here. Suppose you want to say NA, so I will say NA. Now when we run this, NA will get printed. So if XYG value is available, it will print the XYG value, or otherwise it will print NA. Okay, so we have seen the use of the get function. Okay, now there are some functions, like suppose you want to print the keys of the dictionary, so you can say like dict1 dot keys. Okay, so it will print all the keys in the dictionary. Okay, clear this and run this file. See, all the dictionary keys is got printed. Similar to this, if you want to print values, you can say, see, all the values got printed. Okay, now to remove the element, okay, to remove the element, we have two functions. Remove, so we have pop. Okay, so pop will delete the element at the specified key. Okay, so let's make use of pop function. So I will say student dot pop, and what will take argument as the key, so we'll pass simply roll. Okay, now when I print student, now when I try to print student, let me clear the screen and run this again. Okay, now I'm going to run this. As you can see, roll number got deleted. Okay, now another is pop item. So what pop item does, it delete the key value pair from the we can say the dictionary. Okay, so a pop item will simply delete the last element of the dictionary. Okay, so when I run this, you can see roll number and standard got printed. The last number was house. Okay, so house, key and value both got deleted from here. Okay, So this is the basic difference between pop and pop item. Now we will see some of the functions like update. Okay, suppose we want to update something in the list. Suppose we want to update roll number. Okay, update. So suppose we want to update roll number. So there are two approach. We can do something like student, and then I will say roll, and then I will say equal to 3 4 5 6. Okay, 3 4 5 6. Now let's print the dictionary. I will say print, say student. Okay, now what will happen, it will print the roll as 3 4 5 6. Why we have why? Because we have updated this. Okay, now let's go and make use of update function. What we'll do, we will suppose what we can do, we can simply assign a new dictionary. So I will say dict2, and I will give some value to this dictionary. I will say what we can say, mobile equal to, I will give some number 789. Okay, now I will update the student dictionary with this value, mobile and 789. So what we can do, we can say student, sorry, I am missing t here, student dot update, and in update I will simply pass the name of the dictionary. So dict2 is the name. Okay, so let's run this and we'll see the output. Okay, now let me print the dictionary also. Print, say student. Okay, now let's run this. So as you can see, mobile and 789 got added to the dictionary. So our dictionary is now updated with the new key and value. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Sorry, today's session got lengthy because of the topics. So that's all for today. Bye bye.